Hello gamers and gamettes, my name is Tanek127 and welcome back to another video. And guys, in today's video I want to give you guys my thoughts and impressions on Wayfinder. Now, I straight up said that, I was not going to make a video on Wayfinder talking about my first impressions of it until the server issues were fixed. If you are currently watching this video right now, that means these servers are 90% fixed. I'm not going to say 99%. There's very light queues. I'm talking since the servers have been fixed. I've never sat in a queue for longer than 2 or 3 minutes at the most. There's occasional disconnects or little glitches and bugs that happen. The typical thing you expect from an early access live service thing. I'm not justifying it or saying it's okay, but it's my job in the video to tell you what's realistically there. So I'm letting you guys know that ahead of time. If you're watching this video, the Wayfinder servers are fine for the most part. But what is going on? Welcome back. And before we get into this video, I do want to give a special shout out and special thank you to Digital Extremes for hooking me and a few friends of mine up with early access to Wayfinder. However, the Wayfinder team, Digital Extremes, and everybody has made it absolutely clear that they want brutal, honest, hardcore feedback, meaning I am allowed to say whatever the hell I want. Let's get that absolutely clear right now. These guys gave me a game key. All right? It is not worth me risking the trust of 15,000 subscribers for a game key. Let's get that in our heads before we watch this video, please. And I don't mean to sound frustrated, but I am so sick of people coming on videos like, oh my god, it's sponsored. How do we know you're telling the truth? And I've built this YouTube channel for over 5 years. I'm not going to risk that for a game key that I can go buy from Walmart. But anyway, let's go ahead and continue with the video. But anyway, so what is Wayfinder? Now, a lot of people are going to go on the record and call this an MMORPG. Wayfinder has a lot of MMO features. You have world bosses, you have dungeons. There are plans to add raids to Wayfinder. And speaking of raids, by the way, if you haven't checked it out already, on Wayfinder's Twitter and Discord, they have already put up a roadmap showcasing some of their future plans with the game. And they are going off of fan feedback, so make sure you let them know what you guys are interested in, what you guys want to see out of the game, and what you don't want to see out of the game. Me personally, I'm excited for the raids, but that's a topic for another day. When it comes to Wayfinder right now, I currently have 69 hours in it. You guys can see that right here on my PlayStation profile, which I'll show you guys right now. I have played in every single Wayfinder technical test. I've played in the alphas, I've played in their closed beta, I've played in all of their tests. As you know, I've spent plenty of time with Wayfinder. I dealt with the first week of the server queues, and I'm playing it now and enjoying myself while the server issues are gone and everything like that. And honestly, I would say, if you're an action RPG or MMORPG fan, Wayfinder is definitely going to be a good old time for you. Who is this game for and the kind of players I would recommend it for? People who like more of those instance-based MMORPGs or action RPGs. I would recommend this to people who like games like Diablo, games like Path of Exile, people who play MMOs like Neverwinter or Skyforge or something like that. I wouldn't come into Wayfinder expecting the next Final Fantasy XIV or World of Warcraft. Wayfinder is not that kind of game. Wayfinder is more like a love letter to MMOs. It's more so, like the simplified, smaller version for like, the more, I'm not going to say the more casual player, because there's a lot of hardcore and difficult content in this game, which we're going to get here into in a bit. If you've fought bosses in here like the Dread Legion at first, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But this is more of so, like a mini MMO, if that makes sense to you guys. Now, if you watch a lot of first impressions and reviews from a lot of larger creators out there today, you're going to see a lot of the same thing. You're either going to see people complaining that the game's really light on content, it feels repetitive, or they're going to be complaining about the server issues that happened over the first week, which, I don't blame them. That's the first impression people got. You know what the saying says, first impressions are everything, and I'm not trying to justify, the server issues, but Wayfinder, they did go ahead and compensate all players that tried to log in. They gave you, I quote, a free Wayfinder token, and if you don't know, that unlocks any Wayfinder from here or in the future of your choice. You got 1,000 rune silver, which is 1,000 of the game's in-game currency, and 5 tower keys, which are basically 5 battle pass tiers free to unlock. If you add all that up, that's roughly $30 or $40 worth of in-game goodies, which I'm not going to say is a ton of stuff. Hey, you guys wasted a week of our time and you're just going to throw $40 at me and think that's going to make it up. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying the team has good intentions and they're trying to make these mistakes up to the players as they go along. They are heavily based off of fan feedback. They know we're pissed about the server issues. Trust me, they are well aware of that. If you go into Discord and just talk for 5 minutes, trust me, you'll see that for yourself, and they are still trying to make up for that even to this very day. But like I was saying, guys, Wayfinder is more so, one of those instance-based kind of MMORPGs. Like I said, there's open world content, there's world bosses, there's even, I believe, 2 endgame world bosses that you farm for some of the best gear in the game right now. But like I said, Wayfinder is more of, like a social MMO-like dungeon crawler kind of deal. There's a lot of instance-based dungeons. You're going in dungeons back-to-back, farming for, gear, parts, leveling up your character and stuff like that. And speaking of, like gear and parts, let's talk about something right now. As I told you guys early in the beginning of the video, Wayfinder is published by Digital Extremes. So I don't find it a coincidence that it is monetized exactly like Warframe. And I mean exactly like Warframe down to the teeth. Let me explain. The characters in Wayfinder are obviously called Wayfinders. I'm sure you know that. These characters can either be grinded by putting together a ridiculous amount of in-game items and stuff like that and summoning them. That's how you earn them for free, or you can buy them out of the cash shop. Same thing with these special weapons in the game. The characters have abilities, the weapons have the abilities. With the special weapons, you can either grind them with a ridiculous amount of, in-game stuff you got to farm, or you can straight up purchase them. The same way it works in Warframe. We even have heroic Wayfinders coming out, which sound exactly like Prime Warframes. There's a heroic Kairos right now if you purchase the top tier Founders Pack in Wayfinder. Now, will I call Wayfinder pay to win? Personally, no. And the reason for that is because a few years back, I tried to say Warframe was pay to win. People jumped down my throat about it and told me that, hey, it works like this, it works like that. Nothing works if you don't do the grind. So therefore, I'm going to stick with that same mindset. If Warframe can do it, and it's published by the same people, Wayfinder should be able to get away with it too. And that's my honest logic on that. But you let me know how you feel about that down in the comments below. I personally don't find it pay to win because if you buy a Wayfinder and you buy a weapon, right? For example, if you don't grind either of these, if you don't do the work to level them or farm them, they're literally a level 1 cosmetic that can run around and hit things with an ability. They're useless. They can't do anything unless you level them or grind them. Yes, the money is going to give you access to them, but what your money does stops right there. It gives you access. Just like how the game is. When you purchase, a Founders Pack for Wayfinder, it gives you access. The rest of the game's up to you. I'm just saying that's how it works. So you can take that for what it is. I left my opinion on there. You guys let me know what you all think. Now, when it comes to endgame content and stuff like that, I personally think Wayfinder is chocked with a decent amount. However, there are people who say, it's there's not much to offer and it's kind of repetitive. Now, I will say Wayfinder's endgame content is a little repetitive. Because a lot of its endgame is basically composed of a couple of world bosses and a lot of harder mode versions of dungeons that are currently in the game. Now, I do know that they are adding some more dungeons and even another hunt, which is basically a boss here in a few weeks. But right now, a lot of the content in the game is based off of some of the earlier game content, just harder mode versions of it. So, you know, kind of like how you got things in Final Fantasy 14. Like, for example, you know, let's say you run the dungeon Satasha, and then, you know, you have Satasha hard mode for Endgame to farm your gear or something like that. Or if you're doing the trial of Ifrit, you have the regular Ifrit for the story mode, and then you have hard mode, then you have extreme and stuff like that in the trials. Same kind of thing here, how Wayfinder works right now. But guys, other than that, honestly, I've been having a great time with Wayfinder. I just wanted to make an honest video showing you guys what the game is right now. The developers are looking for honest fan feedback and plan to grow this game for years and years to come. I'm personally excited to see what it has to offer. And you guys know me here on the channel. I'm a huge fan of instance-based kind of games. I love these kind of games. I was based on games like Neverwinter and Skyforge for a long time. So it shouldn't be a surprise to you guys that I really do enjoy this game. But anyway, y'all like today's video? Smash that like button. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I will see y'all on the next one. Peace out. Have a good one.